like boobies. You like boobies. Vicky likes boobies.
You're tacky and I hate you.
Now, are there any damn questions?
Have you any idea what the street value of this mountain is?
This is a nice fish, you know? Big fucking eyes, but a nice fucking fish.
Good evening, bottom feeders and underachievers. It's time for your weekly dose of free. Fucking ingrates.
We love you.
No, we don't.
I do.
Anyway, this is the weekend. I am your host, Justin, as always, joined by
Mike. Kyle.
Vinny.
And Joe, who loves you all.
And this
Pandering.
is a Fix It edition of the weekend, where we take a film or show or whatever, try to make it better by making it completely different. But this is a very special episode where we're going to fix something before it even comes out. We are attempting to come up with our perfect version of the X-Men that's going to be in the MCU. Yeah, Joe?
So there's this guy with psychic powers whose parents didn't die but left him a lot of money. See where I'm going with this?
But they did die, though.
Yeah. Well, they did die eventually, but they didn't die, like, tragically.
They weren't murdered.
No, not like the other ones the guy whose parents died.
You can't explain the joke. It loses something.
All right. So I tasked the team with coming up with their group of characters that they would like to see. So we're going to run them all together, see what team we form, what villains we're looking at. We'll go over the casting that we could all, agree on. And then the plot. And we'll tell the story of what could be.
Fair.
Now, I will put it out there that I made I have a fairly large team, but that's because they're also teachers in this. Like, there is a group of students. Because I feel like that is when they are the strongest.
Is it when there's teachers and students?
Yes.
It's always a fun time, but it never lasts long. It's never the point. It's always like, all right, let's set this up and try and be teachers. Oh, wait, nothing but problems. And
Right.
we're an assault team again.
Yeah. But this time, these kids will blend in because who knows? Maybe some of these teachers get taken out. Because I'm going to base my story off of Night of the Sentinels.
Oh, I didn't... Okay. I thought we were just doing the team list first.
I am. I'm just letting you know that, like,
Okay.
the reasoning for such a large team to start on my end is because
Gotcha.
it's going to be the introduction of, like, legit Sentinels in this. Not a Danger Room version, and not, like, the iFan version that was in fucking Days of Future Past.
The Walking Tyson.
Although they were absolutely dominant in that movie.
That's fine, but they weren't what they needed to be.
Visually, right.
So that's what I'm looking at.
Okay.
That's a general, what I'm throwing out there. Does everybody else want to give the quick general statement of what their teams will be? I'm assuming Joe didn't actually do the assignment.
No. No.
I'm going to also assume that Vinny did not either.
I didn't even see this in the chat room, to be honest with you. But I do have an idea for like an X-Men movie I always wanted.
Good. I'm going to yell at everybody after the show about this, But I'm being serious. You all need to read the fucking chat. I understand that there's a lot of gifs and like fun little pictures that we throw at each other, but there's important information that happens throughout the day that you all really need to start fucking paying attention to.
I've been paying attention to. I legit missed it.
How'd you miss it?
Because I missed it. That's just what happened. You miss things.
It's just what happened. Dude, honestly, when I get back to my desk and I have 40 freaking notifications,
I don't care.
I'm not going back. I'm way too busy throughout my day.
You need to.
Be like,
you have
go
time.
back.
You take a shit during the day?
No.
Do you shit when you get home?
Yeah.
Okay, then while you're shitting, look at the group chat.
Alright, so I don't know if either of you guys want to throw out yours, or if you just want me to throw out mine.
Well, those of us in the class who prepared should be the ones talking. So Mike, myself, and you.
Alright, well, since I know Mike probably put a lot more thought into his than I put into mine, I just went with my gut in terms of the story that I wanted to tell. But I basically have, similar to what you're saying, Justin, teachers and students, but like there's very few teachers, and to me it's like the teachers and the oldest students are the main team, and then there's slightly younger students that are going to serve as a backup team at a later point in the story because I'm doing Krakoa.
Okay.
Now, I wasn't as focused on where the story, the prime story will be going. I would just take whatever recommendation you guys would go for. I want the structure of their history. That's what I'm really mostly concerned about. And I would like to harken back to the original 5. Not necessarily for the whole movie, but I want it to be established that it was the original 5 at first. And that can only be the first 10 minutes. Just lay out that this is the way the X-Men started, and it's become something much bigger. I'd love for it to be, this is the way they started for the first 5 minutes. The next 5 minutes, we got the giant-sized X-Men group. Not necessarily the exact same thing, but to play to Kyle's story, you would need to establish Krakoa. So why not use a modified version of the actual comic history? And then going on from that point, I'd really like to work with the new X-Men era. I thought, because that plays into very well what you were talking about, Justin, where they are a school. They're still doing the school thing, but they're fucking it up. Because they're, well, not necessarily fucking it up, but they have to deal with the same shit they've always dealt with. They're getting attacked constantly.
It's a school, but it's on a way bigger scale.
Yeah. So that's the only thing I would want to make sure, which is something they disregarded from Word 1.
Yeah.
Back when they made the first series. It was never about honoring the history.
I agree that absolutely in the first 10 to 15 minutes of the movie should be devoted to that core group, but there can't be a huge discrepancy of time a la the comic books where it was that group and then 20 years later we have new guys. Because the ages are going to be all fucking off. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
So, Justin, I like your Night of the Sentinels idea. I just think it would play better as a sequel movie because of how many people are probably going to die in it.
They don't have to necessarily die. They do get rounded up, though.
Yeah, so that's why I was thinking, Krakoa is a good, you don't have to focus on the second team until the third act. So, the first part of the movie could be the X-Men coming out in the universe, and then the second act could be them getting trapped, them coming out in the universe by, having to come out publicly to fight a villain. It doesn't, whoever the villain is, we can talk about it, but, and then the second act being, them going on another mission, landing on the island, and then not being able to get back off the island, and not being able to get back in contact with Charles.
See,
and then Charles has to send out the cavalry.
I look at it flip-flopped. I think Krakoa would make an excellent sequel, and I feel like Night of the Sentinels is a good setup movie.
You have to build toward Krakoa. I agree with Justin. That shouldn't be the that should be the tag of the first movie. They go back to where they what we showed in the the opening montage.
Yeah.
All right, but so my question then is, how then you can't, in my opinion, you can't have a massive team in the first movie then.
Sure you can.
But well, then who's going to be the cavalry for Krakoa?
Well, no, like not the ending being Krakoa the nation, not Krakoa the mission. Like the opening montage would have very little time with the first 5, and then they stuck on Krakoa. Well, it's them, Polaris, and Havoc. You actually show some relationships there, like Scott and Alex have that fucking brotherly rivalry for a little bit. You can do a lot of montage work there just to establish who these people are without much dialogue. Krakoa the mission happens, giant-sized team, and pretty much the team that they show. Wolverine, Colossus, fucking Banshee, the UNICEF team, essentially. And then you do a big jump halfway through the first act, and you're in the school where all of those characters are now the teachers. The first 5 and the giant-sized team are all teachers. And it's the young X-Men coming up, like Quentin Quire,
it's on my list.
Armor. Do like shit, because you're going to have the Marvel Universe supporting it too. You have someone like Kid Gladiator. You just throw all these wacky fucking characters and you don't have to worry about their backgrounds as much as they're powerful and they need a place to be schooled.
Yeah. I played with some ages of certain X characters too to make them fit into the story for me. I loved the idea of doing Krakoa, but yeah, I think it's more of like, it's definitely a sequel story. That's not, you don't run out the gate with that.
Krakoa the Nation is the answer to them trying to do a school and it fails. So now Mutanity has to go to a place to try and build.
Yeah, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the original that introduced Giant Size X-Men.
Yeah,
like the original Krakoa story where the second X-Men team is introduced.
Yeah, I think that would work best as stuff in the opening, as part of a montage, as its own story. That kind of becomes like, what was that Disney movie that came out last year with The Strange World or whatever? You don't. The villain becomes really amorphous. The antagonist just becomes like, oh, we're in this weird place that we can't seem to get out of. It's hard to focus on that as a moment, as a problem that they very quickly deal with because of the giant-sized team, and then move on to the school story works better for me. And then later on, you realize this thing that we thought was a problem, this island, could be a solution.
Well, so the reason why I thought it would work better as the first movie is because you, in my opinion, without having to focus on a primary antagonist, you get more time to introduce the versions of these characters without it having to be like why can't I think of the word?
Like punchy punch
exposition.
Okay.
Without it having to be exposition.
Your story sets up good character work, but the problem is it misses the mark of what most X stories are about. And that's about being harassed for being different, right? When you set the whole story on with the Krakoa mission, it's very much just like interwoven X stuff.
It becomes like a Star Trek episode where they drop onto a planet. Yeah, I can say that, Joe. You can't. They drop onto a place where they have to figure out what's the problem with this place and how do we deal with this. Oh, the away team comes, the cavalry comes to save us. All right, it's cool action.
Right.
And it's a very different X story, but to start this new world that way seems a bit off.
Yeah, because you
have it as a beat, as a moment in the story. Yeah.
Right. You need to establish the one consistent thing about the X-Men, and that is the world fucking hates them.
So that goes to my first question. Do we have the Brotherhood be the main villains, or is that played out?
So I think the Brotherhood's played out. I want to have Magneto show up, but not full villainous Magneto, just like, this is what I was fucking talking about. That's why I wanted to involve Trask and the Sentinels, but in a different way than they were used in Days of Future Past. Like, I want it to be modern day. I want Trask to be very much like MAGA-centric, make humanity human again. And I want legit, like,
Muga?
comic and 90s cartoon style Sentinels, where, like, they're a force, they're out rounding them up, and it's all the guys of, well, you know, historically, you see these things that have happened, and we, yes, as the audience, we already know, because as Mike said, I would even, the first 20, 25 minutes could be like setups of all the past stuff and how we ended up with them in the school, ushering in new mutants and trying to teach them, all while dealing with the very real world bullshit.
The first act could be a history lesson in the school.
Exactly.
It could be them telling the history of the X-Men, and you could also play that as an unreliable narrative. They're telling their story
Right.
to the next generation of mutants. I think an interesting thing to do would be give a valid argument to humanity's concern.
Yeah.
Where, yeah, a guy like Trask is a complete fucking asshole and he just wants to abuse power. But I've always felt humanity has a right to be concerned about people like Jean Grey. People like Wolverine, who could be turned into a weapon very easily. Sure, it was by humans, but these are dangerous individuals.
Yeah. So I'm going to give you the rundown of the characters that I'm using. I already mentioned Trask. I mentioned Magneto. Professor X, Cyclops, Logan, Emma, Jean, Storm, Gambit, Rogue, Magic, Colossus, Beast, and Kitty are all my established X-Men. And then, as far as students go, I have Quentin Quire. I de-aged Jubilee a bit. And she's a student at this point. She wouldn't be on the bigger X team. The Stepford Cuckoos, Goldballs, Sunspot, Cannonball, and Firestar.
My disagreement lies in, like I said before, I'd like to see the original 7, let's say, plus the giant-sized team as the teachers. So to have Gambit and like Rogue and them be older and be teacher level, I think they would be great as teenagers. Like seeing a young Lothario Gambit.
I didn't want to use any of like the bigger legacy characters like them as students though. And like, I don't have Iceman or Warren in this team. Doesn't mean they haven't existed. It just means, just like in the books, they fuck off at certain points.
Alright, so I would say I don't mind Rogue and Gambit not being teenagers. I like the group that you set up as the students.
Yeah.
But I think there needs to be, because I think realistically with the X-Men, there's like an intermediate tier of like seasoned field veterans that are still not teachers.
Sure. They don't all have to be teachers.
I think like Rogue and Gambit would fall into that category. I wish that you had Angel in the original group, but like if I had to add somebody, it's obviously Iceman.
Like I said, it's not that they're not, like, it's just for this movie, they might not be included on my end. They're included in the opener, if that's how we're going to do it, as it's like a history lesson. Of course, they're very important to that original team. But it's just like, it's like the 90s.
They've done their own thing.
Right, it's like the 90s cartoon. Iceman didn't show up until season 3.
Okay. All right. So, okay. So, yeah, all right. So let's say you were to take the however many, not the younger team that you had, because I do think that younger team is fine as you have it. But if you were to take the older team and split it into, like, teachers and then just, like, field veterans, I would guess what I would say.
That's the way, clearly...
Who would be, like, your teachers, do you think?
My teachers would absolutely be Hank, Kitty, Colossus, Jean, and Cyclops.
Okay.
Absolutely the 5 of them. I could jump back and forth between Emma.
I don't know if I'd want her in there. I think she hasn't had enough time in the movies, enough good time as a villain.
Yeah, but see, like, that's the thing. The only times we've ever seen her are as a villain.
I'd like to see her as a rival school.
Okay. See, my thinking with your... I like your list of teachers. The only thing I'm thinking of with that list is, do we want Kitty as a teacher to start, or is she like a senior field vet who eventually, like, someone like... I think, like, her and Storm have the best potential growth opportunities throughout either this movie or the series of movies to become, like, the next leader of the X-Men.
Well, I would have Storm's the leader. I don't want her as a teacher, especially with the amount of disrespect her fucking character has received in every movie. Like,
so you wouldn't have Cyclops as the leader of the X-Men?
I like that because I'd rather have Cyclops having gone through more shit than anyone else.
Yep.
He doesn't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
And he's got to be pulled in. And Storm doesn't have to admit that she's not good enough, but she's got to admit that she needs his help, that it's gotten so big they need two leaders by the end.
Scott is absolutely okay with being, like, the teacher now. He's
next in line to be dean. He is done with the field work.
He's like the step academically under Professor Xavier.
Yeah.
Right. I guess that makes sense. So, like, in this line of thinking, then the teachers aren't going out on every mission.
No, not necessarily.
The field team is who's going out on every mission, and then the teachers would only go out, like, when they absolutely needed to.
Right. So,
I don't even think they go out at all. I think they are at the point in their lives where they just want to help kids this way.
Until like...
They have to.
There's a thing.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, when Sentinels start actually being launched and rounding up mutants, of course, these guys have to come out of fucking retirement.
All hands on deck.
Right.
All right, so if they're not going out, then I'm down with Kitty and Storm being in that group then.
Yeah.
Well, wait, so you're saying Kitty doesn't go on missions either then?
No, she doesn't. If anything, it's rare. Again, not all the teachers have to be, like, hands off on the missions. Just their main goal is to, like, help train the next flock.
Gotcha.
Right? So, as far as casting goes, Kyle, I'm going to say a character. You can throw out your ideas. So, with Professor Xavier, I went... What I really want to see here, I want to see Giancarlo Esposito as Charles Xavier.
Okay.
But I am over the white World War II shit.
I'm with you on this. I'm absolutely with you on this.
We're in the 2020s, and if we want to keep the whole, like, real world dealing with the you're different, people hating you thing, time-wise, it's much closer to have to deal with being an African American in this country than it is to be a World War II survivor, because most of them at this point, not to sound like I'm just blowing it off or being gruesome, most of them were fucking dead now.
Yeah, this is true.
For Xavier? Or for...
Yeah,
like, because my Magneto, I'll throw it out there, is Denzel.
Okay, and I'm down with both of these picks. I went slightly younger with these picks because my team that I did was slightly younger. And, I mean, I haven't really seen Denzel, but I've seen Giancarlo Esposito thrown out for both characters, so I intentionally went away from him. My Professor X is Jeffrey Wright, and my Magneto is Tyler Perry.
I'm good with those. I like Denzel as Magneto better.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like Jeffrey Wright as Xavier.
But I could absolutely do Jeffrey Wright as Xavier.
Got the voice.
I have a hard time empathizing with Giancarlo Esposito after he played
again, that's another thing that I'd want to change. Just like the whole Emma Frost doesn't need to be a bad guy. Like, we can give Giancarlo Esposito a shot at being a good guy.
The problem with Professor X in that respect is he rarely has good enough moments to shine. It would be a tricky writing because you want to spend so much more time on everyone else. He's just the guy that sets up and everyone else spikes.
But remember, especially as far as we are in the comics now, there are moments where Charles is an asshole.
Yeah.
So, like, if we're going to lean into an actor who's, like, got the natural ability to play kind of douchey, as Charles gets, Giancarlo's not a bad... But I love Jeffrey Wright as Charles. Like, I'm for that. If that's... If the group...
So are we going Jeffrey Wright and Denzel then?
Yeah, Denzel's 100% Magneto for me.
I'm down with that. I don't know if there's an age discrepancy, but I don't think that it matters. I think they're both old enough, and Denzel can look young enough.
Yeah.
Where it doesn't matter what the actual ages are.
Okay. Next up, Cyclops. I'm casting Scott Eastwood.
I went younger. I have Luke Benoit, but Scott Eastwood, I'm good with that.
Mike, you made a face.
I don't like Scott Eastwood at all for anything.
Denzel's 10 years older than Jeffrey Wright.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's Hollywood.
Mm-hmm. It works.
Do you have a better option, in your opinion, than Scott Eastwood?
Unfortunately, no. But I haven't seen him do anything that impresses me. And a character like Cyclops needs a really good actor because you are so limited in what you can do with that visor on.
I think
Chris Pine.
I think he's got the stone. Chris Pine's a little too old, I think, for where I was headed with most of these ages.
What age are we looking at for this?
So I tried to keep most of them in, like, mid to late 30s, early 40s.
Okay. Yeah, because Benoit is way too young. He's only 28.
Right. So, like, I kept all my kids. I casted people that were, like, late teens, at most, like, 22.
Yeah, so, like, for my older team, I was hovering around 30.
Because I
for,
feel,
like, everybody. And then my younger team was, like, teens, early 20s.
Because I felt like if the older group is meant to be, like, battle-hardened and teachers at this point, they need to be in that later 30s, early to mid-40 range.
Well, yeah, if we're setting this up the way we've set it up with Denzel as Magneto, I agree with you. I don't have anybody in mind to go up against Scott Eastwood right now, so I don't know
Mike doesn't
if anybody else has a name to throw out.
Yeah, I don't have enough ammo to go up against it, but there's just something about him I don't enjoy. He's very two-dimensional to me.
Listen, I feel the same way about, what's his face?
Who's the dude from Maze Runner?
He's too young.
Is he?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Here are my choices for Logan. I narrowed it down to 3. I'm gonna need help. So, an underdog pick here. Mike and I have championed it before on the show, but Jared Kiso.
Yeah.
I like Kiso as Logan.
I think he could do it. He's got to bulk up a little bit, but
He could definitely do it. If we wanted to be more like the comics visually, it's an odd choice, but he's got the attitude.
Right. Next up for me, if we're going to go with more of a comics accurate.
I'm sorry, I gotta go. I guess Jill doesn't feel like taking care of her daughter right now, so I'll be back.
Okay. Comics accurate height-wise. And despite Vinny's complete hatred of this pick, Daniel Radcliffe.
After seeing the bulk he's put on, or the shred he's put on, I think he could put the bulk on.
Yeah.
And after rewatching Potter recently and seeing how much better he's gotten since then,
yeah,
I know he doesn't want to, because he doesn't want that kind of responsibility anymore.
Yeah.
But I think he would do a great job.
Yeah.
Especially like Horns. I think of Horns, and the tortured character he plays in that, yeah.
Guns Akimbo?
I still haven't seen that yet.
Yeah,
But
watch
That's a good one. I think if they wanted to make it more of a humorous film, Daniel Radcliffe all the way.
He can play serious, no problem, dude.
I'm not saying he can't play serious. I'm saying Daniel Radcliffe as Wolverine says comedy to me more than serious.
And my third pick, though, this is the one I think that shines the most, especially like attitude-wise, and he's not that tall of a dude. Jensen Ackles.
I mean, I'd pick him for Cyclops.
Yeah?
Yeah. He's got everything Cyclops would need. For Wolverine, I pick Jackman's choice. Taron Egerton. Not Taron Egerton. Yeah, what's his name?
Yeah, Taron Egerton.
Yeah, Taron Egerton.
Taron Egerton, the Kingsman.
All right,
Yeah.
so we're gonna make this then. We'll ditch Scott Eastwood. We'll put Jensen Ackles as Cyclops. Good actor.
I want Jared Padalecki as Gambit.
I almost did it, but I thought you would fucking call me out on it.
I actually like it.
I do have another. I have another choice for him.
Che? Yeah.
No. So we're going Edgerton because I like that.
Yeah.
We'll get Kyle's.
He's that nice medium. He's not too big, definitely not too small, and he's got the chops.
Okay, Kyle's back. Kyle, we made quick adjustments here. So.
You're muted.
Yeah, you're muted. My three options for Wolverine were Jared Kiso, Daniel Radcliffe, and Jensen Ackles. Mike said Ackles would be much better as Cyclops, so we canned Scott Eastwood. And we went Jensen Ackles for Cyclops. And then he threw out Taron Egerton as Logan, and I liked it.
Yeah, I had Josh Hutcherson because I like his jawline.
Yeah.
But I think Taron Egerton grows a better beard.
Yeah.
So, the only thing is about Taron Egerton, and this is, I think, a question with whoever you cast as Logan, is where do they fit age-wise for the actor with the rest of the cast?
That's why Ackles was okay, because he's older than everybody else that I was leaning towards. But, I mean...
That is the beauty of Logan,
right.
He's timeless.
Yeah, he could look young, even though he's like 300 fucking years old. And I think Edgerton with a beard it's gonna make him look the kind of age that he needs to be anyway. He's gonna have to have a scruff to pull it off. He can't be clean shaved. Alright, so that's our Logan then. My Emma Frost, I went Vanessa Hudgens.
I don't even have a thought for her.
Only Murders? Is that?
No, that's Selena Gomez.
Okay.
But Vanessa Hudgens was in that DC show.
Yeah, High School Musical.
High School Musical.
I am a little thrown off just because of she's got darker features.
Yeah, again, I didn't want to just cast a bunch of all fucking white people.
No, I get it. Because
Plus,
I did some switching up also.
I also really like her as an actress, and she's usually like the bubbly, happy person, but she can pull off like that bitch. And even though Emma's an X-Man, and like clearly she's got it for Scott, like she as an actress portrays that for me better than and the only other person I had slotted in here was Megan Fox. But Vanessa Hudgens is way better of an actress.
Yeah. It's easy to make Emma Frost very two-dimensional, but she's way deeper than that.
Yeah.
Hudgens wouldn't be bad as Jean, but...
I'll give you my Jean next. Kyle, you said you have no one for Emma, right?
I don't.
Okay. My Jean Grey, I went Felicity Jones.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, do you want me to throw out who I had, even though none of them are really going to fit anymore?
Well, yeah. I still want to hear.
I had Saoirse Ronan as my Jean.
She's not a bad choice.
She's 29 right now.
Yeah.
I kind of think she's a better choice because you have everyone, you want that look to stay the same.
The only problem with that is Jensen Ackles is like almost 20 fucking years older than her.
Wouldn't be the first time in Hollywood.
It's going to be an issue.
Wait, then who did you pick?
I said Felicity Jones.
Who is herself about 10 years younger than him?
Yeah. Like maybe there's not that huge of a discrepancy between Saoirse and Ackles, but hang on.
Yeah, almost 78. He's a year older than me.
Yeah.
So he's like 4 years older than Felicity.
Yeah. Way closer. Next up, I have Storm.
So wait, we're going Felicity Jones?
If we're going to try to keep it, like, age appropriate.
I didn't know if Mike had anybody else.
Mm-hmm. It's so tricky now that they cast everybody.
That's what I mean. Anybody who, like, was a dead ringer has already been cast in a fucking MCU thing.
Yeah.
So, like, I had to go outside the box for a lot of fucking people. They have cast so many fucking people in Hollywood, it's not funny. So, for Storm, I went Kiki Lane.
Okay. I have China Ann McClain. She's 25.
Yeah. Yeah, you went young.
Yeah. Well, I still think 25 for Storm could work if everybody else is a teenager.
I mean, Kiki's 31. But she was in the old guard.
Okay.
So she's got action chops.
What was Kiki's last name?
Lane, Layne. She was in Coming to America, Native Son, If Beale Street Could Talk.
It is very tricky to pick.
Oh, and she was in Chippendale Rescue Rangers.
Oh, she was the...
Right.
Yes. I did it because if Storm's going to be leading the X-Men, she needs to be able to pull her own in a fucking fight. And I want an actress who's been in fighting movies. And I really like the old guard.
Betty Gabrielle. She played Grandma in Get Out. She played the person that Grandma was put into in Get Out.
She was also in one of the Purge movies.
She's got very interesting eyes, and if I'm picking a Storm, she's got to have those eyes that pull you in.
I'll take it.
Fuck, I want to find some place for Lakeith Stanfield in here.
Yeah.
Next up for me was Gambit.
Lakeith Stanfield.
Mike threw out Jared Padalecki because we have Jensen Ackles as Cyclops. I said I almost did it, but I didn't want to hear shit. So I went with Cord Overstreet.
Who?
Sam from Glee. Go ahead and Google.
I think we should motion have no Glee people in the movie.
Just Google him.
You know I don't do research, Justin. I just naysay.
I know.
I'm offended that you didn't cast Beast yet. You went straight to Gambit.
Beast came later. Don't worry, you'll enjoy my pick. And it's kind of the only one that should be.
Beast came later. Listen to that guy.
I have no problem.
I don't know much about this guy, so I'll take your word for it.
I have no problem putting Jared Padalecki in there.
That one's up in the air for me. That was Kyle Overstreet. I don't know.
Kyle, what say you? Cord Overstreet or Padalecki?
I don't like Padalecki. I don't think Gambit should be that old.
Okay.
In the grand scheme of the...
I'm going to keep Cord Overstreet then. Next up is my rogue.
I could see his Gambit.
And my rogue is Hayden Panettiere.
Come on, dude. Absolutely not.
No.
I'm not having it.
Why?
She played that fucking character already. Absolutely not. She literally drove a Nissan Rogue in that fucking show. There's no way I'm allowing this.
Okay, then pick someone better.
I don't have anybody better because I wasn't casting her in the movie.
Well...
It doesn't feel right for me. It doesn't feel right at all.
Well, you boys have a few minutes to round up someone better. You have the internet in the palm of your hand.
How are you gonna have the bubbly blonde chick not be Emma Frost, but you're gonna have one in the movie?
Because Emma Frost isn't bubbly.
Okay.
So that's why I wouldn't have a bubbly blonde cast as her. But she's played a Southern belle on that show Nashville. So why wouldn't I pick her to be Rogue? My reasons for are better than your reasons not. And you haven't given me anybody better yet.
Why would I give you somebody better I didn't cast?
Because you have the internet in your hand. Pick someone. Pick someone you'd rather see as Rogue then.
No, dude, because I don't want this to be a fucking hour and a half long show. I'm sorry that only 2 of us did the assignment.
Mike, you got anything?
No, but this is the next one that just it just hits me wrong. This is like an Eastwood. This just feels all wrong to me.
Well, if along the way you think of someone better, name her.
Yeah.
But for me, because I've seen her as this tough Southern chick, she was an easy go-to for me.
It's weird. Felicity Jones feels better for this role for me, but you've already got her in something, so that's a no-go.
Next up was Magic, and I cast Nina Dobrev.
I like her.
Thank you.
I think I like this casting.
The most so far?
Not the most so far, but certainly better than Rogue.
You know who I want for Rogue?
No.
Samara Weaving. Am I wrong?
Hang on. She's pretty and everything. But
she was the babysitter.
She is the babysitter. And Ready or Not.
Yeah, she kicked ass in Ready or Not.
Yeah,
She's
she did.
played
She did.
rough and tumble well.
Alright. I'll take it. There you go, Kyle. Feel better?
I do, yeah.
No discord or discrepancies with Nina Dobrev as Magic. We can all agree.
We're trying to keep her in more of a teenage, right? She's not very adult.
Who?
Magic?
She is younger, I think.
Okay. Because I got someone loaded up for another female character.
Because I don't want her as young as the kids, clearly.
Yeah. She's in that middle range.
Yeah. Colossus. And I'll fight all of you on this one. Alan Ritchson deserves to be Colossus.
Is that the dude from Twilight?
That's the dude from...
that's Jack Reacher.
Jack Reacher.
I mean, if he can do the Russian accent, I'm not going to go against that.
He can do it.
That's an excellent choice.
You should put him somewhere else, because when he can pop that shirt off and, talk with the pecs.
He could still talk with the pecs, and then turn into metal and talk with the pecs.
Yeah, this is one case where we get to see him in and out of costume.
Yeah.
In and out of mutant form, and actually perform. Unlike Daniel Cudmore, who they didn't have any faith with saying more than 2 words in a row, this guy can act.
Richton's a good fucking actor.
He was Leonardo in those two Turtles movies. Wait, he didn't do the voice. That's right.
He was the mocap.
He's Arthur Curry in Smallville, isn't he?
Yeah,
Yes, he is.
He was Aquaman. He did a strong job.
Yeah. Next up, again, I will fight tooth and nail to keep this one my beast. I went with Idris.
I like it.
Idris is an interesting choice.
It's funny.
I like the voice.
Yeah.
He's British.
In my younger cast, I went John Boyega. So, I mean, he's pretty much going to be Idris in 20 years.
Yeah.
He's staying British, though, right?
Whoosh, fuck yeah.
Yeah, because we know what happens when he tries to do an American accent.
Yeah.
We need a southern...
So here's my beef with this, though. He shouldn't be in the MCU.
Because he was the one thing that I was going to use when that argument came up is you're not going to see what the fuck he looks like.
And Boyega couldn't be either.
No, I don't see Boyega. Him and Disney.
He was the king. He was the leader of the River Guard. Black Panther.
He was?
But not. I'm thinking.
Yeah, you're.
Yeah.
I'm thinking Daniel.
Kaluuya.
Yeah. Boyega. And Boyega, maybe.
But Idris is going to be. Idris is a blue fucking Catman. So. I'm not letting go. He's smart.
It's the sexy thing.
It is sexy, yeah. He'd be a sexy cat person. He was, you know what? In Cats, he was a sexy cat person.
He's another one, though. He's a face, you know what I mean? You're going to get him all dolled up, and he's going to be all blue. Can't pop that shirt off if the backseat of talking.
Yeah, but the thing is with Idris Elba is, like, he is a phenomenal actor. And his voice... and his voice gives me erections.
Yeah, not Morgan Freeman voice, but, like, it comes in levels.
Yeah.
And it's not, like, a, slight to him, but he's, like, here's bass, here's Morgan Freeman. Idris is, like, here-ish.
Yeah.
My only argument with him in the MCU is he already was in the MCU.
Yes, we just spent the last 5 minutes with that whole thing. That's why I came up with the, you're not going to see him, it's his voice.
I got a problem with him being in the MCU because he's already been in the MCU.
Fuck all of
I fucking love you.
Anybody have any better options?
Not in this age group, no.
Pierce Brosnan.
Pierce Brosnan. Voice only.
He's too old.
We still need he's got to fill the role out.
Yeah.
Where he can cover up what he looks like. It's a strong choice.
Jake Sully. It's already blue.
I see you.
All right.
I don't want to.
Sorry.
For Kitty Pryde, I went Emma Roberts.
She's teacher, you said?
Well, she's she is.
I love that casting.
Thank you. She is going to be the youngest of the
teachers.
The teachers.
I'll tell you what, if you wanted to go blonde for Emma Frost, that was the one.
She would be great as Emma.
She's not a bad Emma Frost, but I didn't want to do Emma.
Yeah, I'm saying you could put her anywhere.
Yes.
I'm looking at Emma Roberts right now, and she's in a picture next to Julie Bowen. Julie Bowen was the mom from Modern Family.
Yes.
She'd be a great Emma.
Isn't she, like, mad older than everybody else?
In her 50s.
I'm not mad older than Jensen.
But anyway, that's sidetracking. Why isn't this?
She is 53. She is older than Jensen Ackles.
Well, here's Happy Gilmore.
Yeah.
She was.
So who do we have left to cast for you, Justin?
I can give you the castings of my children's and my Trask.
All right, so
Can I change my rogue?
To who?
Betty Gilpin. She was in The Hunt. She was the lead in The Hunt.
But I really liked Samara Weaving, though.
I don't care.
We have a lot of good choices now.
Kyle, do you have other X-Men you need to throw on there?
Well, all the ones that would be remaining. Well, so Iceman and Angel, we said, are just not going to be in it, right?
Yeah, I mean, not that they're not in it. They would just show up early in the history lesson and then...
Yeah, but we're not going to cast... For the purposes of this, we're not going to cast them.
Yeah, they're not imperative.
Yeah, they're not... Yeah.
Okay. So the other people that I don't remember hearing you say in your list are... I would add... And I don't have... I'll just read the ones that I had casting for. Nightcrawler and Warpath.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't use them.
Yeah, we need Nightcrawler.
And you could make him younger.
Yeah, again, it's not that I didn't... I could have easily made, like, a 60 fucking person X-Man team. But I just kind of kept, some of the core, some of the 90s, and then characters that I really like in the current comic stuff. But who do you have for Nightcrawler?
Timothy Chalamet.
Of course I like it.
I'm not going to hear many arguments there.
Adorable.
That's another one. You're getting all these handsome guys. You're putting blue on them.
Even through the blue, he's
for
gonna shine.
Warpath is cheating, but I put Boo Boo Stewart.
Yeah, that's fine.
Dude, Timothy Chalamet is Gambit. Yes or yes?
Shut up.
Get him out of the blue skin. Make Nightcrawler freaking what's his face? Henry Carvel.
What?
A new take on Nightcrawler. He's Jack now.
All right, moving on.
You do know that Warpath has already been Warpath before, right? That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
What?
Boo Boo Stewart was Warpath in...
Days of Future Past.
Yeah.
Oh, he was? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay, time for the X-Kids. With Firestar, I cast Olivia Rodrigo.
That's interesting. Did she ever act in anything?
I think she's done a little bit.
Because I know her only as a singer. But I'm fine with it.
She's got 21 acting credits.
Yeah.
Damn.
Cannonball, I went Mace Coronel, however, Coronell.
Wow, totally went away from the blonde, huh?
Yeah.
I have nothing on that one.
Sunspot, I went August Maturo, Maturo.
So you're going to have a problem there. They're going to shit all over you for not casting someone darker skinned. Because that was the biggest problem that happened.
The picture I've seen of the kid, he looked pretty damn tan skinned.
The pictures I'm looking at, I'm darker than him.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, he plays Ben Savage's kid in Girl Meets World.
All right, the picture I saw, again, he looked darker skinned, so I went... I mean, obviously I would have totally taken Zola Maridueña, but he's the fucking Blue Beetle, so I can't have him.
Doesn't mean you can't. We dip in,
Then I absolutely would take Zola Maridueña.
Yeah.
Gold Balls, I went Jeremy Ray Taylor. He's the portlier child from It.
It's a pretty strong choice.
Yeah. For all 4? Is there 4 or 5 Stepfords?
5.
For all 5 Stepfords, I want Millie Bobby Brown playing them.
She'll never do it.
It's understandable, but that's who I'm picking. For Jubilee, I went Peyton Elizabeth Lee.
Peyton?
Peyton.
Wait, Elizabeth Lee?
Yes, Peyton Elizabeth Lee.
There we go. Yeah, that's excellent.
Yeah. And my Quentin Quire is Aidan Gallagher. You will absolutely...
That name sound familiar?
Yo, you know.
Dude, these fucking name spellings, I just...
Aidan Gallagher. Why does that name sound familiar?
The guy that smashes watermelons?
No.
So is that the full cast?
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably a gimme right there.
Yeah.
He's number 5.
Yeah.
Oh, Aidan Gallagher's yeah.
Yeah, 5. And I said Magneto is Denzel, and Trask is Tom Ellis. I want
Trask is who?
Tom Ellis. I want a very handsome, convincing man to be the face of humanity's hate. So, who better than Lucifer?
Well, Justin, congratulations on getting 90% of your casting.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'd want him as Mr. Sinister.
I wouldn't hate it. He's a good actor for it.
I'd want to pick someone kind of off the wall, someone you'd think for a comedy for Trask. He doesn't need to be pretty. He needs to be persuasive. I want, like, Steve Carell.
That's the thing, though. Like, I kind of want him to be a bit attractive. Because it's, you know, it makes the medicine sweeter, I guess. But, I mean, I don't hate Steve Carell.
I'm picturing him from Foxcatcher, except charismatic.
Oh my god. I started watching part of that movie again the other day. I saw it on TV. It is so fucking rough.
Yeah, it's uncomfortable.
He is such an awkward person in that movie that I was uncomfortable just even, like, not even being fully invested in it. Just having it on in the background made me uncomfortable.
What about, like, Jon Stewart?
As Trask?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, if he fully committed to that, it would be unnerving, especially knowing him, knowing what he stands for.
Yeah.
Playing against it. Oh, that would be fucking disturbing.
Because then he would really understand the sentiment.
Yeah.
So, yeah, story-wise, I like Mike's opening history lesson thing. I like having a strong actor as Trask, making you kind of, like, not along. Be like, well, is he really that wrong? Maybe they are menaces.
Very persuasive, but toward the end, he becomes much more unhinged.
Yeah. Legit sentinels. And a cast of youngins who can spring into action when some of the teachers start getting, you know, rounded up.
That does kind of play into Apocalypse.
A little bit.
What they did in there. I like the idea of Magneto floating in every once in a while, literally, to be like, y'all are fucking up.
Yeah.
And by the end, him and Charles have to put the plan together to make Krakoa the nation. Then you could go in the second one into what they're doing now, like make it even crazier, where it's Araco and Krakoa and multiple dimensions, and they've opened up a fucking can of worms they had no idea was out there.
And it gives this film series then the ability to be like kind of autonomous, but at the same time, Avengers can still show up and be like, the fuck? Also, who wouldn't want to see a Hellfire Gala on the fucking screen?
I think that's the way you start the second movie.
Yeah.
And in there, they lay out the creation of Krakoa.
Yeah.
That's a full show.
That's a show. Go ahead, Kyle.
All right. As always, if you like what you hear, you can like us on Facebook.com/nerdities. I'm losing my voice. Follow us on Twitter @nerdities. Email us at nerdities@gmail.com and check out nerdities.com.
While you're there, fuck yourselves. Then pull out your credit cards, go over to nerdities.myspreadshop.com and buy the hoodies that you begged for. Then buy t-shirts and stickers over at can'tstoptheropedrop.myspreadshop.com. Not that you couldn't get stickers of the other Nerdities products, but the Disney stickers are cuter. Head over to Sinful Creations by Justin, CINNFUL, creationsbyjustin.com. Get yourself sweet treats. The holidays are coming. And, you're going to need them to get through meetings with your in-laws and shit.
Go check us out at Nerdities on YouTube, youtube.com/Nerdities. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell to get notified when new content is coming, because it is coming, including Nerd ETs, our cooking show. Some wrestling promos will be going up, some really fun ones. You got to see the characters. They are great. And also on October 30th, our second live show will be streaming on YouTube. Interact with us. Talk to us. We're here. If you want to sponsor Nerdities, write us at nerdities@gmail.com. We'll croon, we'll spoon, we'll talk about your business and or product.
That's a much nicer way to say plug your shit. The opinions of Nerdities crew are idiotic and stuff, but don't worry, next week's will be far more so. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And why should I care?
Drop!